Have you ever been on a walk with someone and at the end of it, you're like, wow, I didn't know this about them at all? Well, that is the point of Walk and Talk, a podcast where we walk and talk about their lives, their stories, and what makes them them. So join me and my guest every week as I walk and talk with a different person, getting to know them on a deeper level. On today's episode of Walk and Talk, we have Bryan Boyd joining us. So grab your phone and your walking shoes and join us on a walk as we talk about being a bad communicator, a good listener, TV shows, and what it feels like when your wife jumps ahead in our favorite show without us. Welcome to another episode of Walk and Talk. This week I'm walking with Bryan Boyd, who does insurance. He's also my insurance agent. So if you watch the commercials for State Farm, like Jake, he's my Jake.
That's a good one. I've never heard that one before. That one's good.
So welcome to the show. Bryan, why don't you tell us a little about yourself, just to let listeners know. Like, are you married, got kids?
All of the above, yes. This
is the fun part.
The cool part about this walk and talk deal is you never know what you're going to get.
Yeah.
I've always been told, if you don't like the Lubbock weather, just wait a little bit. It'll change. And we scheduled this, or you scheduled this on a day where the weather is about near perfect.
Yeah.
This is nice. And so, but walking and talking, there's a definite problem to have where oncoming traffic and cars, and we're just passing a guy with a weed eater, so don't know if he's going to pick up something. So, just walking into the unknown. It's pretty nice.
Well, that's how the listeners know we're actually out and walking.
Out here walking and talking, so I like it. My name is Bryan Boyd. I was born and raised in Sweetwater, Texas. So, small town kid. Came up, graduated, jumped right on into insurance. Met my wife, Courtney, working at a restaurant here in town. And we have 3 beautiful boys. Braden, who's at 5. And Tristan, which is 2, and so every day seems to be a Star Wars episode of lightsabers and definitely harder than I thought it was going to be.
Yeah, and boys are fun though.
Boys are fun. They're 2 different personalities. Braden is our skinny mini, where he's very picky on what he eats, and he's very kind and loving and compassionate. And then on the flip side of the coin, you have Tristan. We call him our Hulk baby because he eats everything in sight. He's aggressive and wants it to have his way, and stubborn, and just takes after his mother. I mean, I was not that way at all. I'm kidding.
Oh yeah. I think your wife would disagree.
Can we eliminate who listens to this so we can scratch that Courtney so she doesn't listen to too much?
No. After one of the episodes, I had a long discussion with my wife about our communication.
Yeah, there you go.
And so now and I want your wife coming on eventually. Yeah.
She could be like a walking Dateline commercial. She's a prosecutor for Lubbock County, and has been there for a little over 10 years. Has done a fantastic job. She's a court chief, and she handles some pretty high cases. She's got a bad case coming up, where a baby unfortunately passed away, and so she's prosecuting that. And as hard as it is, those weeks where she's going through a hard trial like that, after she wins and gets justice for the people that can't speak for themselves, it's very self-gratifying for her as well.
So, is it hard, like, And I know she'll do her best to like keep it at work, but with, like a case like that, that's gotta
No, I think
carry over to
think
home and just.
I think being in that position, and I'm talking about all the prosecutors, because I get to see all of her friends and work acquaintances. It when you're doing that job, you're not doing it as a job. You're doing it because that's what you feel that you were put on this earth, and that's your purpose, was to stand for justice and to help those that may not be able to help themselves. And so I think it's almost impossible not to bring that home. I think you could do your best to compartmentalize it, but the human factor of it, where you're sitting there, you're wanting the best outcome for this family, or you're like that verdict from the jury or something like that. And so Courtney really pours into how hard she works on preparing a case, and how she's taking juries, and how she's looking at it from different angles, and trying to her best to be as fair as possible for both parties involved. But at the end of the day, she wants justice again for those people that maybe can't speak for themselves.
I've been on a couple of these walks talks, and that's kind of traffic bad.
Yeah. So it's like a bob and weave. So, almost in this type of neighborhood, just wear some basketball shoes, make some cuts, and this, that, and the other. No, this is fun.
Yeah.
It's fun.
So now you're in insurance.
Yes.
I noticed that your degree is not in insurance. So how does one go from, what was it, sports?
Well, and now it's called. Back in my day, was it was exercise sports science. I wanted to be a coach.
Okay.
And now it's called kinesiology, I believe.
Okay.
But that's what I wanted to do in high school. I love coaching. I love motivating. I love trying to see a problem and fixing it, and we're doing our best and to develop a team and to develop a culture that is positive, and where a lot of people have fun together as a group. And so I did a couple of shadows at coaches in the work-life balance. And if you're, if you're a teacher or in the education system or coaching, your work-life balance is really stressed and strained, and you really have to love what you're doing. And when I did those two shadows, I was like, man, that's just not for me. I couldn't do it. So God bless those that purpose is in place on their heart to do that. And so my family had always done insurance since I was little, and I got to see the what I typically like to say is I always got to see the cart before the horse. I got to see how you can help change people's lives if they have right coverages in place. I got to see the freedom and the flexibility you have having a insurance business going on. So, so I got to see all the good, the bad, and the ugly. And so when I had the opportunity to join an insurance team, I took that, and so I got to take what I liked about coaching, developing a team, helping people improve, making a positive culture, things like that. I got to interject the things that I already innately like doing and putting that straight into a business. So I use the insurance business as a vehicle to use my talents on that side of things. So yeah.
Okay.
I've kind of just fell into it, and I'm interviewing folks. I'm like, I know that a lot of people don't wake up one day and like, man, I'm going to go be an insurance salesman. But if you're ever presented that opportunity and you do have the talents, or that's something that inspires you, it does give, or to me at least, it gives me the opportunity to have the type of lifestyle that I want, being a business professional at day and then at night I get to be husband and dad.
Yes.
And so I was joking with one of my friends just last week, and I was like, man, I sell insurance so I can go coach T-ball.
There you go. See, you got the coach.
So I got the coaching in there.
There you go.
Finally got it in there. Yeah.
And it's more fulfilling when you're coaching your own kid.
Yes. So it's been fun. We've had a blast coming into this T-ball, and I didn't know what I was getting into. It's my first year coaching, and my goodness, when they said that they were short on coaches, I see why.
Yes.
So I've had an absolute blast doing this. So we've had a lot of fun. You know, from the uniforms to the kids getting together, and some of those things that they say, and how serious us as parents and coaches take the game versus like them. They're just happy to be there and they're wanting to wait to get the snacks after the game.
Yeah.
And we're trying to sit there and make the perfect lineup for 5-year-olds. So
yeah,
that's you got to always kind of keep things into perspective.
Yeah. Well, and last night we had a game, and I coach. We're in the 9 and 10-year-old, and it's kid pitch. And all season we work on fundamentals, like doing your job. And usually I don't get on the umps, like in Little League. But we've been teaching our kids, like, if we throw down, you put the tag on, and then you hold the glove on them. Well, they did it. And they're holding the tag on, and the runner took their foot off the bag for a split second.
Yeah.
And so I was like, I yelled at the ump. And it's not so much like to get the out, it's they did the correct fundamentals. They did what
they want them to get rewarded for what they did right once you practiced.
And this is our first game that we won last night, and the ump yells at me, "Look at the scoreboard, for crying out loud." And I'm like, I don't care if we're losing. They're doing their job. Like, that's what you're teaching them. And you didn't do your job. Like, I understand if you didn't see it, that's different. But you were standing right there looking at it the whole time. And so I told the kids after the game, I was like, you guys did so good. Like, you did what we taught you. The ump missed a call. That's baseball. It's going to happen. But you got to keep doing your fun. You do that, it's going to pay off in the end.
Yeah. One thing that it doesn't just go to baseball, T-ball, or anything like that, but having kids involved in some kind of team activity that teaches them on, good things happen, bad things happen, working as a team. Sometimes you're not going to get the bat first, playing the infield.
Yes.
Sometimes you're going to strike out. Sometimes you might take a ball and you get hit in the face, or you're not just instantly good at something. And so I see one of the best things, and I was talking with one of the board members, and he was talking to me about how it gets more intense as they get older. One of the things that has made me extremely happy on trying this opportunity was to watch the improvement from players from very first practice to now. We had a kid, I was talking to Courtney about him last night. We have a kid on our team, and he's the youngest out of everybody in the league. Didn't even know where first base was. Didn't even know how to hold a bat. I mean, literally just coming in as green as the green could be. And now, just working and him having he has more fun out there than everybody's foot shorter than everybody else, and has the biggest smile, the best attitude, and now he's hitting it off the coach. Like Coach could, he's hitting it off the coach. He doesn't even need the team.
That's awesome.
I'm just super proud of the guy. So, watching those moments happen in like real time, I always tell the parents, like, I wish you could see your kids' faces when they're running the bases. Like when they're running third, their smile, their joy that, whether they scored or not, but in that moment, that just is like everything.
Yes.
That I've had it's been a blessing getting to experience some of that.
Yeah, it's fun, and then once you get older, you're like, why are they so mean to me?
Well, and and it gets more intense, but the cool thing in our own family dynamic is my dad that lives in Sweetwater comes up to the games.
Okay.
We've been short on some coaches sometimes, and so he actually gets to coach in the dugout at first base, and him getting to help with Braden now, it kind of just makes things full circle.
Yes.
He's having a blast, and again, just those moments, and it doesn't have to be baseball, but taking time and out of this crazy world, we do our best not to pay attention to too much news because most of it's all negative.
Yes.
And I want to steer away from that. I mean, you don't have to go very far to look at these protests, to look at these inflation numbers.
Yes.
God bless you, interest rates, all those things. So there's enough negativity to go find it. So one thing that we like to talk about is being intentional, being very, very intentional about being positive and looking at creating and helping enjoy those moments, whether it is, or going out. We tried out that new Milestones place.
Okay.
It was nice. I mean, it was perfect. I think it was like $13-14 and drop your kid off, or not drop them off, but they get to, it's like the own indoor like playground park. So that was great. But being in the moment where, yes, you want to do your very best at work and do something that you're proud of doing, and that was your purpose.
Yeah.
And then immediately clocking out, not just physically clocking out, but clocking out mentally as well. Taking that breath and then go enjoy your time with family. Go enjoy your time with your kids. Go enjoy, whatever your hobby is. Go do that, because I think it's very easy nowadays to kind of get suckered into this work mentality. You kind of fall into this quicksand of I don't want to say depression, but this part where everything kind of seems like this little negative cloud that follows you. And so to do that, you want to be very intentional on getting out and experiencing those fun times.
See, it's interesting that you brought that up. Lauren and me, well, mostly Lauren, she was listening to a podcast about the church sermon about yokes. And like when you're working and you feel like you're going nowhere, you got no energy, who are you attaching your yoke to? And it's funny that you brought that up. Like you're in a depression, but you're not really. You're just like treading water.
You remember that old commercial with the eggs like moving along and then that cloud just kind of falls?
Yeah.
And I feel like sometimes it's not the cloud that's following us. We're following that cloud.
Yes.
And we got to stop and regulate and purposely go a different direction and chase after those good moments, those deepen those relationships with our friends, look at creating new relationships, but continue.
And so like the message was, are you getting on the yoke with Jesus, or are you getting on the yoke by yourself and dragging this heavy piece of wood around?
Oh yeah.
And so it's not, we're supposed to attach it to Jesus and he's going to help us, but you also got to do the work yourself too. And so it's like you said, you got to find that balance of work life, home life. And if you can't, you're always going to be treading water.
Yeah. I had to get really intentional about a year and a half ago. The insurance market started taking a turn for the worse. Okay, and spoiler alert, it hadn't gotten any better, but it got really bad, where I wasn't able to help as many people or to service or to do the things that I enjoy doing.
Yes.
And I fell into that hole where again, I was just this black cloud was just everywhere. Like it was like my brain was on autopilot, where I would wake up, get ready, go to work, come home, eat, change the kids, help Courtney, get the kids ready for bed, put them to bed, stream what was ever on Netflix, and then do the same thing over and over and over again. And 1,000% my fault, because I was sitting there trying to control something I had no control over.
Yeah.
And even myself, I always preach that, you can only control your own attitude and your activity. You can decide to be in a good attitude or have a good attitude, and you can control your activity where you can do something about it. And again, I was focusing on the things I couldn't control. And it put me in a really just rut. It's a quicksand. It's just off of a bad place to be. And then just started like slowly digging myself out and getting outside the head, because like you're saying, Satan will tell you, like, you're the only person that feels this way. You're the only person that has really put yourself in this predicament of feeling, not worthy, not feeling positive, not feeling gratified in what you're doing. And so slowly just started digging myself out of that. Big part of it was making sure that we're attending church on a regular basis, finding and searching out relationships at church. I got a membership at Rockbox.
Okay.
I've been doing that for about a year now. Learned and developed relationships there. One of my buddies is a part of the this like recovery room where you can do like these like those plunge.
Okay,
things.
yeah.
Love it, by the way.
Really?
But I started, instead of me looking at what the things I couldn't control, you go to work, you do your very best on what you can control, which is have a great attitude and have a lot of activity. Just work as crazy. Don't be afraid of making mistakes. Just going all out.
Yeah.
And then when the time comes not to work, then you shift gears. Then you focus on those relationships. You focus on nurturing that relationship with your wife. Courtney and I, we make it a point to go out on a date at least once every couple of weeks.
Okay.
Do that. And then, we always want to make sure that we're doing something with the kiddos on the weekends. Not just like on the league, but we want to take them out to lunch or brunch or whatever, or we want to take them to that milestones or main event or go do something like that. But it's hard work to maintain relationships.
Yes.
But it puts you in such a good place, knowing that you've got a village, because when we do hit those peaks and valleys, you want to celebrate those peaks with your village.
Yes.
And when you hit a valley, and we all know that we hit them, you've always got that support system there to pick you up. So now when I come home and I've had a rough day, Courtney can automatically see that, and I'm already ready to rock and roll on explaining it, getting it off my chest, and now we're back to not in this like I'm in this by myself type deal anymore.
Yes, and I go through that too, like especially right after COVID time, like because we were locked down and everybody's just, like, it just felt like a black cloud just over you and you couldn't break free. And so, like, our relationship was rocky then. Like, it just felt like anger the whole time. Even though, like, I was still going to work, but it just wasn't the same. Like, and so, it's true. You need to build those relationships. And like how you said, you intentionally reach out to people at church to, not network, but network to build a community.
Yes.
And so that's like me and Lauren got into a small group, and we love our small group. And it's really made a difference. Like,
huge difference.
We have a texting group that we have.
It's amazing how many people share the same problems and issues you have that you were afraid to talk about.
Yes. And it's interesting because, like, my dad never said there was anything wrong with sharing emotions or talking about it. But then as we grow up, we see it on TV, like those manly men.
Yeah.
Like they don't talk about their emotion. Like Tim Allen and all his shows. How many times do you see him show like having an emotional talk with his wife?
Mm-hmm.
Not very much. If it is, it's because Jill pulled it out of him on Home Improvement.
Yeah.
And so it's like your dad didn't really not to do it, but TV did. And then as you grow up, you get less emotional with your wife. And so that's one thing I struggle with is communicating my emotions with her.
Yeah.
And so when I'm having a bad day, I would just come home and sit in my chair, look at my phone, and everybody knew
just avoid it instead of addressing and avoiding it.
And so now that's what I'm working on is communicating with her and trying to let those out. But a part of me still, like when I'm talking about it, it's like, no, this feels weird.
Well, I have the same moments. I mean, there's times like I'm mad and I just kind of like shut down.
Yeah.
And I think that's why it's important to have healthy relationships, because sometimes when you don't want to talk about it, you have to have people there to like help you walk through that valley.
Yes. And my favorite, well, not my favorite, but my least favorite time is like when me and my wife are in a fight and I know I did wrong and I don't want to go start the conversation to end it. So we'll just go.
You've been watching Courtney Night's home cameras.
Yeah. And so
like I will do a freeze out for as long as I possibly can to know that I'm right or you're wrong. Even though I'm wrong, I will not admit it. And we can just like let it pass. Or we're just going to sit here and not talk to each other.
Yeah, but you still go and do like your stuff. You're still passing each other in like the hallway. Like for some reason, when I get mad and I don't want to talk to her, I do chores.
Yeah,
I'm like cleaning the kitchen, vacuuming, doing laundry, and I'm like, if I'm carrying a laundry basket full of clean clothes, I'm like staring at her, like you can see my mean face, like. And so. One time when we weren't fighting, I was just joking with her. I was like, I think you know that like when I get mad, I like to clean. So you just push my buttons.
Oh, mercy. I'll sit there. Yeah, Courtney and I, and again, it's just because I'm so stubborn, it hurts.
Yes.
And it's still hard for me. So yeah, we have those freeze outs, and I'll have to, eventually I'll have to just eat it. And we'll sit there and just kind of dig in. And Courtney will come and she'll always approach. Like, all right, are you over it yet? Are you done pouting? Like I'm like Brayden and Tristan. Like,
yeah,
yes. And so that's a learning. That's not one of my top talents. To say the least.
Well, you're not alone in it.
Exactly. Good to talk about.
And then my favorite is like, you think like your wife is mad at you and your wife thinks that you're mad at her. Like it's nobody know really.
Problem? Like what your problem is? You think it's like 1,000 times worse than what it really is.
Yeah.
Like this issue, this problem is so bad. And on the other side of the argument or other side of it, it's not a big deal at all.
Yeah.
And so once you talk about it or once it's addressed, it's like, oh, so it's just me that was being immature and acting like a child. Okay.
Well, and I always like it because I feel closer to my wife after we have, I know I'm straight, after we have an argument, like I feel like we learned something about each other more. Mm-hmm. And afterwards I'm like, why did it take me getting mad to learn this? It's like, but my favorite is when we think each other are mad at each other and we're not really sure, and so we'll just be like avoiding each other but still send TikToks, Instagram stories, and then finally like one of us will find a reason to like talk to each other, and you realize that nobody was mad at each other, we were just tired that day.
Yeah.
And you're like, wait, you weren't mad at me?
And here's another thing is this, and I'm 1,000% guilty. So, but one of the hard things is not only communicating and expressing like how you feel.
Mm-hmm.
You know, another problem is asking for help.
Yes.
And that's one thing that I like to help teach Braden and Tristan about it, because we always want to. That's where this maybe it's pride, maybe it's ego, whatever. But it's like, I'll figure it out. I'll dig myself out of this hole. I'll find a way, instead of asking for help. And I think that's a lost talent. Is not only asking for help, but asking the right person or who to help you.
Yes.
And so that's one thing, is because Courtney, as organized as she is, and we have about 18 calendars in every room on what our schedule is. She's super organized. She's got all of this, all of the things going on. And I'll always be like, she's just got all of this, she just wants to do it all because she is such the caregiver of our family.
Yeah.
She makes sure I'm taken care of. She makes sure Tristan's taken care of, Brace's taken care of, and her job's taken care of, and making sure that I'm good at work, and she's just has all of these things that she wants to take care of, and sometimes it's just overwhelming sometimes. So, but that's what makes her a great mom. Mother's Day coming up.
Oh, yeah.
So shout out to her.
Yes.
Happy Mother's Day.
Shout out to all moms that are listening. And I know my mom's listening. She's one of my followers on Spotify.
Oh, I love it. I love it.
Yes, happy Mother's Day to all you moms out there. And back to your point about asking for help. For some reason, I find it easier to ask like my dad for help than to ask my wife. And I think part of it that I'm realizing, like I've been doing a devotion off of men, but it's a 365-day devotion. And one of the things it talks about is, for some reason, society and they can't ask for help, and they can't show weakness to your wife because you're supposed to be the leader, provider. And so when I was reading that, I was like, oh, I do that. Like, I don't know why I'm afraid to like show like I need help from my wife. Like, what? But my dad, I can call him and be like, Dad, I need help with this. Yeah. And it's like, well, that's wrong. Like, yeah, I can go to my dad after I go to my wife, but why can't I not go to my wife first to ask for help? Yeah, that's I can. I've had those same deals. I've always kind of gravitated asking my mother for help. And I've fallen into that as well. And I don't know what that is, but do you think it goes to the pride that we were talking about earlier? Like she does so much, like emotionally for everybody in our family. Then how can I go to her to ask for help? You almost feel guilty doing it. Yeah, and what do our wives want? Like they want us to ask them, and not think, oh, it's a burden for them. And it's weird because it's always great to feel needed. Yeah. Somebody comes, like if a client comes to you and like, Chris, I need help doing this. I've got to get this taken care of. And then you got the answer. It's like, oh yeah, this is an easy solution. Let's do this. And then you're like Mr. Hero, save the day. Yeah. And I think that's kind of where everybody wants to be, is like they want to be the person with all the answers, and if they don't have the answer, that you get real frustrated. And it's like they get really just mad. Yes. That they don't have that answer. And so then they're kind of lost again. And so I think that, again, that goes back to not only asking for help, but asking the right people, which should be the person that we spend most of the time with. Yes. And who we trust everything with, which is our spouse. Well, and oh no, I think I lost my thought. Oh no, it's about when one of the things that we changed, I think it was like last year, is when we have talks and like Lauren wants to talk about her work. One of the things that we try to do before we start that conversation is me to solve the problem or just listen. And so Like, ever since we started doing that, like, it feels easier for her to talk to me. And then I tell her, like, if you want me to solve the problem and I give you a stupid answer, tell me it's stupid. Like, like, it's easy for me. I'm on the outside of your business to look and say, you got to do this, this, and this.
Uh-huh.
And so if I'm saying something and you're like, no, that's easy, tell me, like, no, that's dumb. But one of the things that I realized was I didn't ask the same thing from her.
Yes, 1,000%
And
correct.
so sometimes, like, we need to vent too. Like, it's not just our wives need to vent. It's we need to vent. Well, I don't know if you do. I'm a big venter sometimes.
Well, I was going to say we're exactly. When I come home, I'm immediately like just downloading everything from the day and just giving Courtney a play-by-play of everything that happened. My problem is after she listens and inputs and all this stuff about the day, how could have handled different or kudos on this.
We're gonna walk over.
My biggest problem that I have is I do not return the favor where I sit there and say, "Tell me about your day," because I'm already a natural just talker.
Yes.
That's why I told you got to be careful giving me a microphone because I will talk and talk and talk. And with Courtney, I do a good job of actually asking, how was your day? What did you go through? And so that's where some of it could be, I guess, lopsided.
Yeah.
On that conversation. So, as you are getting help or you're communicating, make sure that it's going both ways.
And like when I was teaching and coaching, I for some reason I would come home. I would never wanted to talk about it. They asked me. I could had the worst day, and she would ask me how it was. And I'd be like, "It was good." The problem was that I watched all those silly videos of teachers that are now comedians, and then you get this one every now and again, and they're like, one of the problems that teachers have when they go home to their spouses is they try to tell them about their problems, and they can't relate.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's like, oh, a kid is complaining. And it's like, no, it's not just he's complaining and just he's messing up our whole schedule in class this way. And then it just snowballs from there. And it's like, yeah, it seems so little. And so it's like, I never wanted to talk about my day to her. I just wanted to hear about hers.
Yeah.
And so finally she's like, I know nothing about you. And I was like, what do you mean you don't know nothing? We're married. How you not? She's like, you never told me about your days. And so, it just made me think, okay. And then I still struggled with it, even when I got out this past year of not telling her. And I couldn't figure out why until it was, well, I never asked her to ask me if I needed to vent or a solution.
Mm-hmm.
Because she would always try to give me a solution. And it just made me more angry. No, you're not helping. And so I would just shut down because why am I telling you? It's just making me.
Oh, I love it. So Courtney has to with all of her all the attorney terms and defendants and this and that and hearsay and all these terminologies. It's funny now because I've heard so many stories about it that because our favorite thing to do is to watch Datelines.
Y'all got problems.
Yeah, 2020 Dateline, all of them.
Oh my goodness.
Her favorite person is Keith Morrison.
Okay.
So we just walk around. If we're not quoting The Office.
Okay, I can get along with that.
Okay. Well, if we're not quoting The Office or we're saying talking Keith Morrison, guess he didn't see that one coming. I do. But now, when they're going through those, when those attorneys or whatever talking when they're in court, I'm like, oh, I've heard you say that term before. Yes. So when she's in court and I'll get to go watch every now and then, it's same kind of intensity. It's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Pretty cool. She's she'll tell me, then you got to figure out like put the characters' names, like the people that she talks about, and then you get to go like watch like the like, oh, so and so was convicted of this, and then you get to go up there and like see them in person. Like, oh man, like I had somebody totally pictured different, and this, and then you get to watch it. But yeah, we're addicted to like the Dateline shows. I don't know what the storage is on YouTube TV.
But you've hit that limit?
But we're looking for it.
Okay.
But with 2020 and Dateline.
They have podcasts of all the episodes, right?
Well, when we're on long trips, this shows you like how messed up we are. We're on long road trips. We listen to the HLN channel and like just listen to straight forensic files.
Okay.
As for driving. So it's very entertaining of that one.
Yeah. Oh, I just remember you were talking about how you and your wife try to do a date night like once every couple weeks.
Mm-hmm.
So for Valentine's, I won't say it was Valentine's Day. I got Lauren. I saw it in one of the stores, red store. Put a little circle inside it.
Yeah.
And, it's called the Advent Challenge, but it's for dates. And so it just has different date ideas, and you don't know what it is until you scratch it off.
Oh, that's cool.
And the rule is once you scratch it off,
you have like so many days to go do it.
Yeah, you got to do it.
Yeah.
And so if we do like a go out on a date night, they have stay at home date nights.
Okay. Yeah.
So one of them was watch a romantic romantic movie, and then you get s'mores inside. So look into that.
Yeah, we did. Again, go back to Dateline. We ordered the Hunt a Killer box.
Okay.
And that I think it took us 2.5, 3 hours to do it, but because we don't actually like work on a bunch of things. Like if we're putting together like a toy or a piece of furniture or whatever, I'm the one that's automatically just trying to get the pieces to match and put it together, and she's like wants to read the instruction manual first.
Oh, no.
And so we're, it's funny because we always like do our own thing, but put it together. But the Hunt a Killer deal was really cool because you had to like look at these clues and the whodunits, and that was a lot of fun.
Okay.
One of my friends for my birthday gave me a nice bottle of tequila.
Oh.
And it's in a cage. And it's locked.
Okay.
And they made a game. I forgot. It came with like a deck of cards.
Okay.
But it's you have to go through these. You and your wife go through these cards and try to figure out the combination to this lock to unlock it to get to the tequila or whatever. So, which is funny. So we haven't got to do that yet, but it's on our to-do list.
So you can't even drink it? Like you can just look at it?
You can look at it. Looks cool.
That's like the best worst gift.
It was like I opened it, I was like, that is just great. So that's that was a great one. I forgot the name of the deck of cards. But anyways, you go through these trivia questions that lead you to the next one. The next one eventually get to all the cards.
So is it designed to like bring you closer, or is it just random stuff?
Just random stuff.
Okay.
Just random stuff. Like that. Done that. Yeah, we're big foodies.
Okay.
She loves watching the Food Network.
Okay.
She just wore me down because I teased her about it. Because I was like, on this burrata cheese, we're gonna pair this with this oil and this and that. And I used to like I made fun of her so much about this. Now I'm like, hey, did Chef Sean make it to the next round, or did Chef Susie make it? She's like, oh, I guess you're gonna have to watch it. And so, and now I'm addicted to these shows.
Do you watch the Great British Baking?
I'm sure she does. No,
It's on Netflix.
we got really into. Well, I mean, before I was always into like Chef Ramsay stuff.
Okay.
I've always liked him, but these other cooking shows I really didn't pay no attention to, and she loves them. But now that we've watched them so much, we're watching this one show. It's called 24 and 24, where these 24 chefs have to do these 24 challenges, and they have to cook for 24 hours straight.
Holy cow.
And every hour that goes by, somebody gets nixed. And it only comes on Sunday nights. And see, this is what really starts fights. She watched one of the episodes without me. You both don't just get together and decide you're gonna like something, and then you go off and watch the episode without me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
See, we like Love is Blind.
Love is Blind,
And I actually was the one that found it.
I like how you're like, I'm the one that found it.
Yeah,
I mean, I have a claim to TV like, since I found it, I get to pick when and where we get to watch it.
But as the seasons go on, like once they get out of like I don't know if you've seen it.
I've not seen it, no.
Once they're in a pod and they can't see who they're talking to. And there's like 24 girls, 24 guys, and you're dating them. And I think it's like 2 weeks that you get to talk to them and fall in love with them. And so you do it without seeing them. Well, I like that part. And then they go on a getaway trip to Mexico and see if the physical matches the emotional. And so I don't like that next part. And so I'll tell Lauren she can watch that next part. And one night I was so tired, and
I found the show, so I set the watching parameters.
Yeah, what you kidding? And so like one night I was like, okay, you can watch it. And so I fell asleep. I don't know why I was so tired, but I did. And I wake up next morning and we're talking, and I'm like, how many episodes should you watch? She's like, I'm all the way to the weddings. I was like, what? You can't go all the way to the weddings. She's like, I couldn't stop.
Now, I'm just as bad on other shows. We got really into Suits.
Oh, yes.
Love Suits. Let's see. When she goes to sleep, and if I'm already like invested, I was like, I got to figure out what's going on. I was like, well, maybe one more episode. I got to just see what happens. But then something else happens. So then then you're 3 episodes deep.
Yeah. That's why I always have like a show that I know she won't like, that when she goes to sleep, I'm watching.
I've not mastered that talent yet, but that's something that probably needs to be listed on the to-do list.
Well, one of the shows that I never really watched until I got COVID, like when COVID first came around, I got it and you couldn't go anywhere. And so I was looking for a show that just had so many seasons. Because you can't do anything.
Are you watching Seinfeld for the 18th time?
No, I don't like Seinfeld, actually.
No?
I like Friends.
Friends? Okay. I couldn't get it.
It's Survivor.
Uh-huh.
And so I started binge watching that. And I've almost watched The Amazing Race, because I think it would be so cool to go on that. And Lauren's like, yeah, I'll go on that. I was like, perfect. Dry stick, I can't. I'm good at navigating, you're good at driving crazy. Like the other night, we had a Mexican food place, and my stomach was upset. And we had met, and I got in her car, and so the plan was to go back, get my car, and then go home. I was like, no, I gotta go home. And she was driving like you're supposed to. And I was like, no, I need you to drive like I tell you not to drive. I was like, yeah. And she's like, really? I was like, yeah, it's bad. Go.
And that's when she got speeding tickets.
No. We made it home. I don't think I would have made it as a cop. I would have been like, no, you go. Make him follow us home. I was like, he didn't think he can come inside and follow me.
That's great.
But,
That's great.
yeah. And then my brother, not Mark, but I have two more, but one of those in Mexico. His wife liked it. And so when we get together, we'll talk about it. And like one of our ideas, she actually came up with, my sister-in-law, is to do like sibling teams. It's like a season of family members.
Yeah.
Only a family that's related.
Yeah.
And see how that goes.
We did that once with our group of friends. We did Family Feud.
Okay.
And
did you go on the show?
No.
Oh, okay.
No. I've been really cool, but no, we there's a
game,
Family Feud, and we played it, and it still brings up bad blood to this. This is years ago. This is like 5 years ago we played this game, and even like today, this day, anytime that we play, because the guys won by far, it wasn't even close.
Oh no,
we won so bad. And the cool thing about this podcast is they don't even have a voice to defend themselves right now. So I just really want to hammer this in on how bad we won.
Real quick. Ladies, you can leave comments and tag it at Bryan Boyd. Go ahead.
But we definitely won so bad. And so now when we're out together still, the guys will just start playing the Family Feud. And the bad blood that it brings together is just so intense. But
that's awesome.
But how cool is it with your spouse and with those friends and with those relationships that you've built, that you find common ground on, whether it's a TV show, a game, a movie, a sport, or whatever it is that you're able to have enjoy and have fun doing together. And again, like since we're foodies, I like trying like different things like on the Blackstone or like on the grill or whatever, whatever. And Courtney's like, Brian, it's time for you to make me one of those like special fillets.
Oh, there you go.
Or hey, I'm ready for that beef Wellington tonight, or whatever it is. And so it's that, or if she knows like I've had like a long day or long week, like my go-to like home cooked meals, spaghetti and meatballs.
Oh, nice and simple.
So I came home yesterday and boom, spaghetti and meatballs. I'm like, oh, thank you so much. So it's just it's fun to get to love on each other when you have that common ground, whether it's, like I said, a TV show, whether you're watching it with them or without them, starting a fight for later.
Yeah. So I want to go to this Blackstone because my dad has one, my older brother has one.
Love it.
So for Mother's Day, we're doing a brunch, and Lauren and my mom already know. It was actually Lauren's idea. Because I asked her, I was like, what do you want to do?
Lauren had to come up with her own idea for Mother's Day?
Well, I like to ask her what she wants to do on that day. Because if it is her day, and like if I had something else planned that's like if... Well,
I'll let you finish that, but I'll tell you what I did for Courtney last year. It was probably one of my greatest ideas ever. She loved it.
The problem is I don't like to be going, like, that's why this podcast is different for me, because I don't like to go out and, like, interact with new people, and which is weird that I sell houses, but...
if you just tell me what you like about this house, I don't really want to talk about it.
Yeah. And so, like, if my idea of a Mother's Day is, okay, I'm going to make you breakfast, you're going to relax, we're going to pamper you. Hers is, we're going to the lake, we're going activities. So that's why now I asked.
But you don't miss though either. Like you could try to do something like surprising, and you totally miss. Mm-hmm. So yeah, you have avoided that.
Yeah.
Last year I got Courtney a hotel room full of her snacks, champagne. And she got to go check in on Friday.
Oh, no, that's true.
And stay and hang out there all day Saturday. Where I took care of the kids all weekend. And she just got to have like just her time. Like her Mother's Day gift was like not to have the responsibilities of still being home and just kind of just enjoying, the relaxation of it.
Did she like that?
Loved it.
Did she come home Sunday to hang out with the kids, or she was gone till Sunday evening?
Sunday evening-ish. But she came home and it's kind of like just recharging your batteries, really.
Yeah.
You know, not having to do work, not having to do laundry, not having to change diapers, not having to figure out. I had no idea. Courtney was gone for a trip, work convention a couple weeks ago. I had no idea how hard it was to figure out what to eat and what to cook for the family on an everyday basis. I mean, you run out of ideas. Like, you can only eat Chick-fil-A so many times.
And then it's like, you just don't feel good about yourself, too.
And then it's like, all right, and then you try to think. And I always tease Courtney because she would write down on our calendar, like, what we had, what she cooked for dinner. And then I started, like, I experienced, like, a mini version of that for, like, a week. And I was like, oh, my goodness. Like, I was like, we had sandwiches Monday, we had cereal on Tuesday, Chick-fil-A on Wednesday, McDonald's on Thursday. So I was like, man, this is hard. So we laughed about that, but going back to the Blackstone Mother's Day.
So I get tested out at my dad's this weekend.
Yes,
because I get to cook.
Love it.
And so I
love it.
I grill out. I just haven't.
So have you decided what you're making?
I think we're gonna do breakfast food. That's
breakfast food.
It's Lauren's favorite food.
You can't go wrong with breakfast food.
And my mom likes breakfast food, and it's easy and not that expensive, and it can go a long way.
You need to get one of those pancake dippers.
I think my dad has one.
Put all the pancake batter in that deal, and you just press the button to make the perfect circle.
Yes.
They're on the Blackstone. Because you can't mess up eggs, bacon. One thing I like is like the bacon strips that you can put on a Blackstone. You don't have to like cut them or it fits into the deal or fits into the pan. So you cannot go wrong.
I want to make a McGriddle.
Yes.
But I can't figure out how to get like the syrup and the pancake without burning it.
You got to get one of those little circle. Yeah, you can use that. And you put the pancake batter into that on the Blackstone. You don't want to cook it at too hot a heat, but not, a good medium to high heat. And as soon as you pour it in there, go ahead and pour the syrup on the top.
Okay.
So that way, when you flip it, it's already in it. Like you're good to go.
Yeah, I tried it on just like not a grill, just our stove top.
I like doing that. I like cooking breakfast on the Blackstone because you can make people's like eggs like to order because everybody has a different way of eating it. It's like some people like their scrambled eggs, but like runny.
Yes.
Like scrambled eggs where they look like the hotel eggs.
Yes.
You got sunny side up, you got over easy, you got over medium, you got so many different ways. And so again, coming from the service industry, I'm always like, how would you like your eggs prepared?
Yeah.
Do you like your bacon crispy or flimsy?
Yes.
So you got a lot of options there.
That is one of the smartest things I've ever heard point out about breakfast food. Eggs. How many people like it? Like, you would think eggs is like the simplest food, but so many people, that's true. Like, even in my household, like, Lauren likes it almost not eggs because she wants to make sure it's cooked all the way through.
My brother-in-law, he cooks eggs with like garlic and a bunch of Parmesan cheese, and he speedily doctors it up. And I'm more basic, where I'll add a little bit of cream and salt and pepper, and then that's it. So then that's how you grow up.
See, I like mine fried or sunny side up, whatever. I don't know.
Yep.
I'm not service industry, never. I did one summer, but no. But I like to do it, and then I put Tabasco sauce on it. And Lauren always makes fun of me because you're not supposed to eat this way, but I do. I pick up the whole egg, put it in my mouth. Because I don't like the yolk running. I don't want to miss it.
Yeah, well, I'll do over medium, so that way it gives me kind of like a sauce to like dip everything else in. And I will make McGriddles on the weekends. I go and get. I go to. I like eating Kodiak cakes. They're like protein
Oh yeah.
cakes. They have a blueberry flavor, so I'll do that with and I'll cook my sausage patties like I do like smash burgers. So I put on there and I'll smash it down to where it's really flat and crispy,
Okay.
both sides.
Hamburgers like that, like all that.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
Who are you?
Like they gotta be thick and juicy. Like I can't.
I
Like
mean, you can do. You can. There's a time and place, but yeah, I prefer like having a smash burger. But if I'm like in the mood for like a burger, yes, I see where you're at. But I enjoy a good little smash burger. I make them on the little Hawaiian rolls.
so is the Blackstone like easier to like get ready? Like a grill takes a little while. You gotta.
No, but you got to break it down. So like whenever you're done cooking, you got to clean it all off. Like problem is, it's not like throw it in the sink and you come back and clean it later. Like you got to like finish like cleaning it right then and there while it's hot. Get your oil, get everything off of it, clean it up, and then get it prepped for the next time you cook. So it's really easy to use. But as soon as you're done cooking, you gotta prime it for the next time, and that's where I get a little lazy because after the food's ready, I'm done cooking.
Yeah. See, and I like to clean the kitchen right after I'm done eating. Because if I sit down, that food is in my belly and I'm out. Like, and so I know if I don't do it right after I get done eating, I know I'm bad at this. I should not do it. But I'll like eat my food fast. Not because I'm like
I'm the same way.
running away. I think Lauren always makes fun of me when I'm eating. I like have a hand out here.
Yeah, you're protected. You're a protective arm.
And it's not like my brothers would actually steal food off of my plate. But there's four of us. And as you can see, we're not tiny. And so if you wanted seconds, you had to eat fast. And so that's like always what I've done. And then even in teaching, like you only get like 20 minutes to eat.
Oh yeah.
And so if you want to,
You gotta so later on today, you gotta do this. Look up the TikTok trend of girlfriends and spouses trying to eat at the same pace of their husbands.
oh,
It is the funniest thing. Because like normally they're doing like Chick-fil-A or some kind of fast food,
yeah.
and like the speed at like, especially like myself, is like when I'm eating, like I eat so fast. And I don't know where that came from.
Well, I think it's not fast for us, but we're men, so we have bigger mouths and we just fit more in.
I'm able to eat and like go sit down or whatever.
Yeah, and then everybody still eats.
Everybody else is still eating. I was like, sorry.
Well, my thing is they like take a bite and then they say something, and I'm like, well, if you guys just like ate, and then we could talk after. But you guys want to talk during, and it's like, no.
It was like you don't enjoy it. Like I won't even drink anything while I'm eating. Like I eat, and then after I'm done eating,
then you drink because you don't want to mess up the taste.
Exactly.
Now, if it's something I don't like, a bite, water, rinse it down. And I can't say it's Lauren's fault. I'm usually the one cooking.
Yeah, we have a deal.
It's whoever's home first. You got to do the cooking.
Oh wow, okay, yeah.
Because like, especially when I was teaching, like I had a set schedule. She doesn't have a set schedule. She's in sales and owns her own business, and so I would do all the cooking. And if something bad because my own disgusting. I'm like, eat your food. So, well, thank you, Bryan, for joining me on Walk and Talk.
This is a blast.
Yes.
Thank you so much.
Wow, what another great episode of Walk and Talk. Thank you so much to Bryan for joining me.
Let's not waste time or take this slow. We've got miles behind us, but miles to go. So let's just break this down to the simplest truth.